Welcome back, everybody. Beautiful Tuesday morning on this Veterans Day rolls on. Final, 25 minutes of our show. Get you ready. We're going to have a busy Sports Tuesday before we wrap things up. So we're into the final week of the regular season for Division II football. That means for Minnesota State University, Moorhead, everything's in front of them. They have a chance here. They have their final game of the regular season on Saturday against MSU Mankato, a win and some help, and maybe, just maybe, they might hear their name called for the Division II football tournament. It's expanded this year. Head coach Steve Laqua joins us on this Tuesday morning, does each and every Tuesday at 10:35. First, before we do that, Devil's Lake is back in the Dakota Bowl. You have ripped the hearts out of Firebirds fans for 2 years running. That's the last time they were there, 2009, 2010. If you want to give a formal apology to them, the floor is yours here this morning.
Well, I don't know about an apology, but you know what? I'm glad that they're back. I'm glad they're in the situation. When you get close and you don't get it, those things, it's a lot better to be on the winning side of things. I've been on both sides at different times in the career. You know what? I'm glad they're back for the community. I think that's a good thing. You know what? At the end of the day, they're playing in the game that everybody wants to play in when you start the season. And however it goes, it goes. I remember the one game, I was like, we'd had a tremendous season, and it all would have gone for naught. It felt like for us, we were averaging winning by 30 points a game. And then it was a close game. It comes down to a game-winning field goal at the wire. But you feel like if you lose it, everything you've done doesn't matter to that point. But at the end of the day, you're playing in the game that kids grow up dreaming about playing in. And obviously you want to win, but at the end of the day, you're getting that experience. And so, you know what? Hopefully it goes well for them.
The second time around, 2010 for you, and I'll talk about your current team. Were you more nervous that time, knowing everybody expected you to win, than the first time when you guys made it the year prior?
Absolutely. There's only 2 games that I've ever coached in that I've almost thrown up in before the game. And one was the first time that I was a head coach at Shanley. And I don't even know why I was nervous. We had no prayer of winning a game. But it was getting off the bus, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what are we going to put out on this field? Like, I'm in charge of this now. Like, it's at the end of the day, everyone's going to look at me and be like, wow, you did that. Whoa. So there was some nervous there. And then it was this one going into the second Devil's Lake game that I remember I had to kind of sneak off, find a bathroom that was, because I didn't want anybody to know. And I was like, oh boy, this is not good here. So I definitely felt it.
And those 2 games are one of the 2 of the best ever played in the history of the Dakota Bowl. Both for the longest time was the only overtime game with you and Devil's Lake, and then a game-winning field goal at the Alaris Center in 2010. You're part of some more memories here this past weekend. We talked about leading up to it. Describe what it was like to see Gage Florence go and do what he did Saturday, now to become the all-time receptions leader in Division II history.
It was really exciting. It was exciting after when I knew it happened. I didn't know that it happened on the play. I didn't know where he was. There was one point in the game where I heard some cheering, and I thought, oh, okay, it's not really, really loud, so it's probably okay. He's tied it. And then you're to the next play, and then he caught one. We're getting to the next play call, and then you hear the fans cheering super loud. I was like, oh, he must have got it right there. What I thought was really special is, John Webking and his crew with the Go team, they made a video tribute, and we've got the video board, right? Generous donors make that happen. We're able to use the board. His mom's talking there. That's where I probably, lost it. I'm trying to hold it in here still a little, where you get a little bit teary-eyed. You're like, you know what? This kid's come a long way. We're excited for him. And then he gets to kind of enjoy it that moment with the people close to him. I thought that was really cool. So I was glad we got that. And then we had the senior banquet afterwards where we could kind of bask in it a little bit. It ended up being a perfect way for it to happen. Perfect day.
How was that on Saturday night? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's good. It's always that's probably a tougher time. I struggle a little bit pregame with, seeing the families out there, and especially when they're not holding it together. So to say, and I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like a dad who's, at the end of a road with these guys and sending them off. And, at the banquet, I get a chance to talk to each player, and I have something written for them and read it. And so I know, you go through that and you try and make it personal, and that's difficult. I know, the last couple that I saved the last couple, Gage and Jack, I left at the end because I knew those would be difficult. But I told my wife I could almost not, it wasn't because my handwriting was bad, but I could almost not read Jack's because my tears in my eyes, everything was blurry. And, I just basically told him, was just so appreciative that he chose us, right? He chose this program, the staff, these teammates, this Dragon family of almost 450 people that were sitting in that room last night, and forever indebted to his choice. And that it speaks a lot about who he is and made a lot of impact on our program.
That's good stuff. I appreciate you sharing that. On top of everything, you also got the win, which I know is the most important thing. How did the team play? No, all those emotions, expectations, records on the line. How did you feel the guys handle that on Saturday?
Honestly, I really liked it. I think week 10, you know what? Our guys played with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. You could tell they were excited to be out there. Did we play perfect football? No, we played really good football.
Yeah.
You know, you look at halftime, I was a little discouraged. I'm like, holy, these guys got over 250 yards of offense. But you look at the scoreboard, they've only scored 14. One was a pick six. You get to the end of the game, and maybe as a coach, I was like, gosh, can we just get it put away sooner? It was like 16 points. Wow, you never know. Then it was 24 with 11 minutes to go. And on the headsets, we're like, wow, this is where our wheels came off against Mary. And you're like, oh, I just never felt in control. But at the end of the day, you look at it and go, hey, our defense held them to the lowest point total since week 3 or week 4. For them, they're up, and that's giving up 7 on a pick six, no fault of the defense. Our offense scores 44 points. We run the ball for over 300 yards. We ran for more than 300 yards, and so I'm guessing the next question is, hey, what's wrong with Jack? Are we going to play him if he can't throw for more yards than we rush for? Like, what are we doing here? Maybe we got to talk about a change. And so,
man,
I'm ready for that question. If you're going to
come on now, I'm not that predictable. I was just going to say you ran for 300 yards. That's a red letter date. We probably should, have some sort of star next to it.
Yeah, 2 100-yard rushers in
Holy
one game.
cow.
Tyson Bryant, Owen Wiersma, and hats off to Owen Wiersma. He's gotten his opportunity here down the stretch of the season. He's done a fabulous job running, getting yards, getting tough yards, making great reads. Super helpful for our offense.
Well, I was going to be that guy. I'd say, were you feeling okay calling that many runs? Were you getting like the shakes or something on the sideline Saturday?
Well, it was cold, so my hands didn't work. I couldn't pull the call sheet over to get to the other side of the passes, so I just had to stick to the one side.
Oh, man.
I guess.
To finish out the home schedule the way you did, that's become a thing as well, of trying to protect home field. How do you feel that's become now a place where it's really hard for teams to come in and play?
Well, I hope so. I think some of us, we're creatures of habit, and so being able to play in a routine where the start time and those things certainly are helpful. I do think our crowds have continued to grow,
Yes.
and it's been surprising. We had a good crowd out there too in the game, and it was cold, and a team that maybe didn't draw a lot of fans, a team with one win, but hey, we had a good crowd, like pretty similar to the rest of the crowds all season, and so I think that's been really good. The following that we have as a program, I think, is there, and it can grow. Yeah, we want it to grow, but it definitely adds to the atmosphere and how our guys play.
All right, regular season finale. It's at Mankato. I was talking about this, I think, late last week, knowing full well of what happened down there a couple years ago with the block field. You had a chance. Just now knowing, hey, we can control what we control. We go down there and win, and then let's see what happens. For this group of having their regular season finale at Blakesley, this has got to seem almost poetic, right?
Well, I think so. I think we've looked at it and said this is however this season's going to go. We're in a one-game season. This is where you want to be playing at the end. This is the type of game, right? They know that they can't really stub their toe either if they want to make sure that they're in. So they've got to play it like a playoff game. You want to play in games that have that feel. And so we've got that opportunity. A couple of years ago, we played well down there, didn't get it done. Last year, we played a solid game. It's like the only team in our league that this group of seniors hasn't beaten is Mankato. And so there is a feeling to them of, okay, regardless of how it goes, like, can we get the program to that spot? Can we get where we overcome that hurdle? And so our guys are looking at it, embracing the challenge, are excited for it. I think there's a good, solid belief that we can do it. But I think we also know we play a really good football team that's got some of the most highest quality wins that you're looking at. You're like, this is a good football team. We got to play good football, but we are capable. And so we can do it. It doesn't have to be a miracle, but we have to play good football. You can't play bad football and expect to come out with a win.
What's your memories of playing there, of playing at Blakesley? What's that? What comes to mind when I talk to you about Mankato, Minnesota?
Well, I think about the last time we were there, and you talked about it earlier, having your heart ripped out, because that was a game that we felt like we could win. I'll go to the second time having my heart ripped out was my senior year, and we kind of had a debacle going down to the game. We're in Mankato. We're playing without some guys, and we got a field goal at the end that, you know what, I can't remember if we don't make it or they make it, but it came down to a field goal, and we lost a game that we shouldn't. which in essence took us out of the playoffs my senior year of college. And so that was a heartbreaker too. So there's been some heartbreakers there. I can't honestly remember. I know we won there as a player, but I don't remember winning there. So it would kind of be nice. I know I told myself, I remember this after our first year coaching, we went down there, we got our butts whooped. And I said to our staff, at some point, we're going to come back here and we're going to find a win. Now, I don't know at some point. I was like, I must have been pretty confident we were going to be here for a while because it's been a while. But hopefully, you know what? I think we played them 6 or 8 times, whatever it's been. Hopefully, we got a shot to be able to have that opportunity. We're at least going to go in there and we're at least in the conversation. We're capable of doing it.
Has anything changed from when you played to now? I think it's this, when I went down for Vikings training camp, it looks the same.
It honestly does seem the same. I'm sure where the halftime, I don't remember where we went at halftime or not. Maybe that stuff is different. Obviously, their new basketball stadium is
fantastic.
Is really cool.
Yes.
I probably didn't appreciate it as a player because we didn't have as many turf fields, but the grass on this field has been phenomenal. It's like as good as any turf field. So I appreciate that now as I'm older and, I look at my own lawn with the weeds and everything, and I'm like, gosh, I got to talk to these guys. How did they get it done? Because I'm not anywhere. I'm not even in the same league. I'm like ready to get kicked out of the neighborhood is kind of where my lawn is right now. So,
all right, knowing full well, I know you don't want to talk too much about this, but you're 7-3. You win. If you get a couple things, are the guys aware of what potentially could happen if you guys win? That a playoff spot may come your way if things go your way on Saturday.
Well, I think they look at it and say it's kind of that Dumb and Dumber line. Like, are we saying our chances are 1 in 100? And it's like, well, more like 1 in a million. So our guys are saying, so you're saying there's a chance? Like, yes. At the end of the day, we can only control what we can. If we can get a win and walk out of there, you know what? We've done what we can do. And then it's to the computers and the people. And you know what? The challenging thing for us is we haven't been up there and like going down.
Gotcha.
We've got to come out of nowhere and show up and you're like, well, we didn't make the top 10 ranking, all of a sudden this team's going to make it. Like, we'd have to have a colossal fall apart here. Now, I have been a part of college football for a long time. There are a lot of crazy things that happen, and so sometimes that last win that assures a playoff spot for some teams is a really tough win to get, even if it's against a 4-win team. And so whatever that happens at the end of the day. If we can go in there, play good football, and we can find a win, hey, that's what we can control.
Well, come on. They expanded 4 more teams this year. They can find room for you guys, right? Come on.
Well, it's 1 more in our region. And so, I don't know. We'll see, right? Like, maybe we're 11 and we didn't make the top 10 ranking and you got a lot that fall out and you're like, wow, the 11th became the 8th. Great. Take it.
Well, I see if one of your old mates, Upper Iowa's in there, but they played 1 less game. What's that about?
Yeah, I don't know if it's just didn't fill a bye week or how their conference. I don't look close enough at those things. I do think they played Drake, so I'm not sure if it doesn't show up because it's a non-Division II game into the regional rankings. Just haven't followed it closely. At the end of the day, we've got to figure out how to beat Mankato, and the voters and the committee, they can figure out from there. So I'll stay out of that.
Appreciate the time as always, bud. Safe travels and good luck on Saturday, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll talk next week. There you go. Steve Laqua joins us each and every Tuesday at 10:35. Dragon regular season finale at Mankato at Blakesley Stadium. Again, a win. We'll see what happens. The latest rankings had Duluth at 5, Mankato at 6, Upper Iowa at 7, Augie at 8, Northwood at 9, and Truman State at 10. The top 8 make it to the Division II football tournament, which begins a week from Saturday. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up, get you ready. We got a great Sports Tuesday on tap. We got Bison Hoops tonight. We'll tell you all about that and send you out the door on this Veterans Day. Hot Mike will wrap on WDAY Extra right after this.